Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and we need to talk about Fallout 5. It's been a very, very long time since we've had Fallout 4. Obviously, we've had Fallout 76 in the meantime, content updates for that. We've had Starfield, we've had other things as well. We've even had The Elder Scrolls 6 announced in that time span. But where is Fallout 5? Where is the mainline Fallout game? Well, some would argue that we're still many, many years away from Fallout 5. Bethesda themselves have even said that we can expect The Elder Scrolls 6 before we get Fallout 5. But why? Bethesda, you take far too long to make games. In the time it's taken you to release Fallout 4 to Fallout 5, Square will have released an entire remake trilogy of Final Fantasy VII and a remake of Final Fantasy IX. What are you playing at, Bethesda? So let's go back a little bit and see how Bethesda actually tackle certain games. So my first foray into Fallout was this very game, this back in 2008, and it was Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is one of the games that stands in my heart as one of the best because it was what got me into Bethesda as a company. I even got it on PlayStation 3 as well. But then 2 years after that, we ended up with Fallout New Vegas, and this is my all-time favourite Fallout game. Couldn't tell you exactly why, and for some reason, I even have $1 in here. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why I have $1 in the instruction manual of Fallout New Vegas, but I do. I love Fallout Vegas so much that I ended up getting it on PS3, and then the Ultimate Edition on PS3 as well. So that was in the space of 2 years that we ended up Fallout 3 to New Vegas. 5 years later, we ended up with Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is brilliant. I love Fallout 4. I know it's not rated as highly as some of the other Fallout games, and during this time span, I played some of the older Fallout games as well because I got into the franchise. And we ended up with a Game of the Year edition of Fallout 4 as well. I don't have a physical edition of Fallout 76. I never needed one. But you can see the time frame of what is happening here. So we went from Fallout 3 to New Vegas to Fallout 4 all in the span of 7 years. Even if you want to assume that we can discount Fallout New Vegas because Obsidian developed that one, rather than Bethesda themselves, then it means that it was 7 years between 3 and 4. It's now nearly 10 years between 4 and 5. Yes, I know in that time we had Skyrim come out, and obviously Oblivion came out a couple of years before that, but it was about 6 years between Oblivion and Skyrim. But if we want to go deeper, where the hell is The Elder Scrolls 6? It's been 13 years. 13 years since Skyrim came out. And if you think about it, Bethesda announced Elder Scrolls 6 years ago. So, we can only assume at this point that The Elder Scrolls 6 is probably not going to come out in 2024. We'll be lucky to see it in 2025. The earliest I would assume is 2026. They're focused on Starfield right now. They want to do all the DLC and all the bits and whatever else for Starfield before they really ramp up The Elder Scrolls 6. So that means it would have been 15 years between Elder Scrolls games. That is far too much. As sad as it may seem, some people don't even live that long. I don't know if I'm going to be around when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, but I really, really want to play it. You think about it. Somebody who's played Fallout 4 back in, well, we'll say 2015. 15 years of that, 2030. I can't wait till 2030 to play Fallout 5. How insane is that? What exactly are Bethesda doing? What takes them so long to create these games that end up buggy messes anyway? They can't be quality control in it. No way. They're a mess. So, what is going on with Bethesda? What is going on with Fallout 5? Well, there are several things that we could take into account. The team at Bethesda that develops these games is getting older. Todd Howard he's not a baby anymore. Pete Hines, I think by the time you see this, he may have already left or he's planning on leaving, so he's not going to be with Bethesda. Yes, I know he's not involved in development, but Pete and Todd are pretty much the faces of Bethesda. Did the Microsoft purchase have anything to do with it? Who knows? Did the TV show have anything to do with it? Yes. Now, many people consider the TV show to be a fantastic experience, and it was. The TV show is probably the best adaptation of a video game I've ever seen, and I enjoyed The Last of Us as well. Fallout TV show, I can't wait for second series because it's set in New Vegas, and I love New Vegas. But does that mean that the TV show is kind of that bridge between 4 and 5, and the 5 development has been pushed back? Maybe, maybe not. In fact, it could even be that Microsoft has said, Bethesda, you need to hurry up. You need to stop working so much on Elder Scrolls and start working on Fallout. Does that mean we're going to get Fallout earlier? No, I still expect about 2030 before we get Fallout 5. Why? Because the time frame that Bethesda were probably working to was about 20 years between Fallout 4 and Fallout 5, which means that we probably wouldn't have seen Fallout 5 until 2035 when the PlayStation 7 comes out. And that's not a joke. I know I say PlayStation 7 because we've no idea what the next Xbox console is, let alone the one after that, because Microsoft has a weird tendency of naming things a bit odd. So I'm basing it on that generation of PlayStation 7. Will we see Fallout PlayStation 7? Judging by the way Microsoft is going, yes. Will we see Judging by the way Microsoft is going, sorry. They're not doing so good, as you probably guessed. So the time frame between all of these games from Bethesda is far too long. Why they even bothered to do Starfield in the first place, I don't know. Who came up with the idea of doing Starfield? I know, let's do this. Let's piss off our fans even more and spend even longer making a game. Like I said, at least with the Fallout series, we've had 76 in between. Yes, it was a garbage heap on release, but it got better as it aged, which shouldn't really be happening with games. That's silly, that's ridiculous. But the time difference between Skyrim and whatever Elder Scrolls 6 will be called is at least 15 years. And we haven't even had anything in between that apart from re-release after re-release after re-release after re-release after re-release of Skyrim. I mean, how many copies of Skyrim do you own? I think I own about 6. And I shouldn't. I should be playing the Elder Scrolls 6, not owning 6 copies of Skyrim. But either way, they need to focus on Fallout. They had the opportunity to do something with Fallout when the Fallout TV series came out, and they didn't. One can only hope that I'm completely wrong, and when the second series of Fallout comes out on Amazon, it coincides with the release of Fallout 5, but then that means that the Elder Scrolls 6 is being pushed back to 20 years between games. I really don't know what Bethesda think they're doing. I don't know how they're going to tackle this. Todd Howard can't make games forever, and he's supposedly the creative genius behind all of this. But is it, or is it his team? Is his team lazy? No, I don't think it's fair to call developers lazy. Oftentimes they're pushed and they're crunched and they can get quite depressed. As someone who's developed games in the past, it's not a career that you can feasibly stay in all your life unless you're a big head honcho. It's tough. So either way, I would like to see Fallout 5 sooner rather than later. And if Starfield's anything to go by, I mean, Starfield wasn't the best game ever, but it was decent enough. I enjoyed it for what it was. So if Fallout 5 is going to be based on Starfield, at least it might be something good. But they need to come up with a good story for Fallout 5. Maybe even Obsidian could be developing it. Who knows? I doubt it. Microsoft aren't that clever. But I think the story needs to be set somewhere away from the East Coast now. They need to move away. West Coast stories are always the best, I think. A lot of fans tend to enjoy West Coast. But a lot of people also want to see other parts of the world. There is a mod called Fallout London, which I've not played it. I've only seen it and it seems to be quite good. People seem to be enjoying it. But generally for the main series, I think they would stay in America for Fallout 5. But what do you think? Is Fallout 5 really over half a decade away? Is it a decade away? Are we really going to get Elder Scrolls 6 first? Or are they really going to push Fallout 5 and get it sooner rather than later? It would make sense to do that, but I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.